Hello and welcome to the Fox Den. Today it is your co-host Cody with our lovely host
Cat.
Today, this week we're going to be talking about just a random topic. So Cat, do you know what topic we're going to be talking about today?
I know it's gonna be random, and you said that you were gonna mention it in the podcast, so I would like for you to introduce it.
Today, we're actually going to talk about what if you lived forever? What would you do? And, how would you feel about it?
Okay.
It's definitely something random that I was sitting down and thinking about, because it's always an interesting topic about how people wind up living forever and what would they do. So I guess for now we'll just talk about what will happen if we live forever. So would you like to start off, or how would you like to do it?
So if I were to live forever, I would say my first thing is I would try to learn as much as possible in this world and just travel, but also explore the possibility of advancement of human technology.
Right.
Because, if I had no choice but immortality, I might as well just do what I always wanted to do, that most anime, thought of, was having all these different people, but now you got one person that lives forever, so you might as well just do what you wanted to do.
Right. With
all these crazy technology ideas, you might as well do it yourself.
Right. Just kind of do your own little bucket list of things. So if you want to, what kind of things would you want to do on your bucket list? Some people got skydiving, some people got bungee jumping, it got all kinds of standing in front of a crowd and yelling something, just weird things on their bucket list. Do you have a bucket list going on?
Yeah, I mean, say for example, I'm gonna just say it like this: if I was cursed with immortality, trust and believe, you're gonna see mechs, swords that are busted, weapons, weaponries, I don't know, just everything, even building a way to basically create a virtual world simulation.
So you're talking about making SAO over here now. So
not only just SAO, but a lot of RPGs that I play had so many virtual stuff going on that you can literally interact with it, and or even make androids, if anything.
So you want to see how the world would evolve into cybernetics and robots, cyborgs.
Because why not?
I mean, we're kind of already getting into that advancement as it is, but we're starting off in the beta stages of everything. So it's actually very interesting.
Far.
Yeah, we're not. Well, we're still far away, but we still have a goal that we're slowly achieving.
But also another thing is I want to go into space and just travel.
Right.
Just to discover the undiscovered and discover the unknown, Yeah. Because that also fascinated me when I was younger, when I was looking into stars and constellations and stuff.
Yeah.
So I always wondered if we're not the only ones and stuff.
So you want to talk about how you think there's aliens out there now?
I mean, why
saying
not?
We're not the only beings in the world right now. Well, in the whole entire universe,
I'm not I'm not a closed mind. Don't get me wrong. If I see an alien, I'm okay. But if he attacks me or then The death is coming. That's all I know.
I mean, but if you live forever, then you don't have to worry about that.
Like, oh yeah, that's true. I didn't think about that.
So, but I mean,
but then
with the
they
whole
might
thing
capture me.
I mean, they're gonna experiment and be like, "Hey, what's making you live forever?"
Right.
But I mean, if I was living forever, I would like to actually see like my bucket list. I really want to try like all different types of like activities, you know, like I actually want to one day like try to stand on a stage and do a comedy skit, because believe it or not, like a lot of the friends that I have, even Cat sometimes says that I'm actually pretty funny, but it's just one of those things where I don't know if I would ever make it out on stage. So, but we'll figure that out if it ever happens. Another thing is just like I do want to learn things. Like if I live forever, I actually want to learn multiple languages, because I have that freaking now decades, centuries, millennia to go if I'm living forever.
True.
So like,
same.
So it's just like the idea of living forever is always like depicted in movies, books, video games. Like a game that's currently popular that actually a lot of people knows is just like Genshin Impact. All like the gods and everything like that, they live forever. One of the gods is just like, I remember when the earth was just a nothing but a giant rock.
My man Jean Lee.
Right, but it's just like he saw how he started with a giant rock and it evolved. He made like mountains, volcanoes, everything like that. Well, I don't know about the volcano part, but I'm assuming since he knows how to like make mountains and stuff, he would know how to make a volcano. But you know, he saw the evolution of man turning into something that he is living in now. You know, so that's like me. It's just like I'll start off just seeing the earth the way it is like now, in the years that we're in, and I may never know that like a giant meteor next year can come down and destroy the whole earth, and I will be sitting here wandering around a giant ball of fire. Even if I lived that way, I don't know how I would, but you know, living forever and such, you know, would make it to where, you know, it's livable. So, but like, I guess since we're on the topic of living forever and bucket list and everything like that, another thing I kind of want to experience is like, I don't know why, I always had like a fascination with bungee jumping.
What the fuck?
I don't know what it was, but it's just like, it always looks so dope to me. But I just don't like the idea of like me being so tall and heavy, even though I guess they would do all the math into it and so much testing and everything like that. I don't want the idea of my face just hitting the ground and just scraping it into a cheese grater.
But you would be immortal.
Yeah, but it's still like, I don't want them to freak out when I'm like walking away from like turning into Grim from Bill Adventures of Billy and Mandy, just walking around with a skeleton face on until my face healed.
Bruh.
You know, like, how can I explain that to people?
True. But at the same time, there is controversy with immortality.
I mean, yeah, there's the one of the controversies that it's always a big thing is the morals. You know, like, you're seeing your loved ones pass, you're seeing like your friends gone, you just kind of like realize like, oh dang, they can't live forever, but I can, you know. And then like, another thing that fascinated me about immortality is that like, if you start off as a young child and you grow up, do you hit your peak and then that's your immortality, or do you like gradually like start showing your age after millennia and so on passes? You know, like, because you never seen an old man immortal.
Actually, yes. If you think about the stories of different like shows and stuff,
right,
where they show gods that are old.
Yeah,
like,
but
old.
that's the way that, like, if you're talking about gods, like, that's the way that the people see them. But in reality, like, that's Because there's some gods that live immortal that are just like, oh, I come down, I'm in this like blob-like form, but then when somebody sees me, I take the form of what they think they saw. Or what they believe a god is in, or whatever, you know?
Well, yeah, but if we think about this, it kind of brings me back to Ruby with Salem, where she curses the god for giving her the curse. Spoiler alert, I forgot to say that. But yeah, with the whole thing with Salem being cursed with immortality, imagine just having the emotional trauma and pain turning into rage because of the fact that not only they were like mad at you for breaking the laws of cycle, but also dealing with the loss of your husband in a sense that it causes you to really throw everybody to the side and stuff, and then just like, you know, try to rid the world and rule it with nobody on it. It'll be no point.
Yeah.
Because honestly, when I think about it now and the way the arc is for her, I understand that she has a reason to be mad. I would be mad too, but I wouldn't be sitting there like, oh, I'm gonna go after the god for just like not bringing my baby back. Yeah, it's gonna suck, but I would have done more than just that.
I mean, but that's the whole thing about living immortal, is that like eventually she's gonna have that suffer.
Until she, what they said? They said that unless she accepts death.
Yeah, and like, but the thing about it is that like, once you're so, I mean, your mindset is set on something, you never really try to accept anything else, you know?
Yeah.
But easily it's just like, if you're immortal, you're never going to accept death, because it's just like, whatever happens to you, you kind of just be like, well, you know, I could take a freaking grenade to the chest and I'll be alright, or take a bullet or whatever, you know. But the thing about like immortals is that like, okay, you can live, okay, it's just like, I'm gonna make anime logic a little bit right quick. Is that like a Naruto character, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but Cuz got his head cut off and he's immortal, but like, so like, but he doesn't have a heart to function. Yes, it's anime logic that it's just like, okay, someone's head cut off, they're talking, even though that's not physically possible because you need lungs to talk. But like, if that happened to you, your head gets cut off, like, how are you going to still be able to talk? How are you going to be able to function? How are you going to be able to do this? How are you going to be able to do that? See, there's like so many loopholes when it comes to it. Like, another show, 10 points to anybody out there that actually knows the show. It's a British show that I watched years ago when I was a young lad, called Misfits, where these inmates got into a weird storm that caused everybody in that specific town to gain a certain power. And like, one of the kids actually became immortal. So what he did was, to be able to get out of his jail penalty, he did stunts to where like he would do everything and anything to try to kill himself. So like, one of the episodes, he actually took a magnum, the world's strongest magnum, and shot himself in the face. And like, less than like an hour later, he came back, even though his head was completely gone. Like, he grew his head back. So like, is that something that immortal, I mean, if you were immortal, is that something that would you want? Or would you want to live with the wounds that you have?
To be honest, I think I remembered there was a video discussing how somebody who lost their head and all, or whatever, can still be able to survive for a couple seconds to say something. And it's one of those weird science medical things, that medical phenomenon that actually has happened on rare occasion, where if the victim were to say have their head chopped off, it's weird, but for some reason they can still talk, or if they lose their tongue or whatever, they can still communicate, and it's weird.
Well, with a tongue, it's just like you can still speak, it just won't be able to like manifest words.
Yeah.
Because you would need your tongue to be able to make the clicking and the the blocking of the pathway to be able to make a word. It's that, like, if you ever done a challenge when you were a kid, is that if you try to hold your tongue and say a tongue twister, it's not possible because it sounds like you just have a mouthful of cotton. It's like it's one of those things that you do need a tongue to be able to talk, but it's just like you can still mutter words. That's why, like, if you ever split your tongue, there's some people out there in the world that split their tongue. They only cut the tip off the tongue because you can still be able to talk with the rest of your tongue. But if you split your tongue down to the center of where your tongue is, then you won't be able to really make words at all. I could be wrong on that, but there's people out there that probably has split their tongue before and it can still talk perfectly fine. I don't know. It's weird.
I've seen people trying to, I don't know how to describe it, like metamorph into like their ideal self. I don't want to say it as like a weird, thing, but it's just like they like this. I think it was like, I don't remember. It was an article about a guy that wanted to become like a lizard or a
reptile
dragon.
Man. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
He split his tongue all the way down. He still can talk.
Yeah, it's just like, but
it's just weird the way he sounds. That's all.
Yeah, it's Reptile Man was someone that I found a long time ago. There's Reptile Man, and then there's like one other guy out there that's like, he tries to turn himself into a dragon.
Yeah, I remember that one too.
And then I think there was, I could be wrong, but I believe there's a Devil Man out there too, who actually, and this is actually seen more than once in a lifetime, is where he actually he actually got a surgery done where he took the bone marrow out of a certain part of his body, and he actually put horns on his head. Like an actual like devil horns. Long time ago. This is an article. I don't know how true it is, but I think in England or something like that. I read an article, like, or I watched a video that had an article attached to it where a kid was born actually with a growth extension of bone in his forehead. Like, he actually had like 10 points to anybody who actually watched Fully Cooley. That one scene where like he started growing a horn out of his forehead.
Oh yeah.
That actually happened to somebody, but it didn't like it's just and doctors are sitting here being like, okay, it's just cells that's just bundled up on the top into his forehead. A lot of people though back then thought like, oh man, this kid is like satanic or something, because it's just like he's weird, but it's just like it actually happened. I believe the kid did get a surgery where he got a chunk of his forehead removed, or the chunk of his skull and his forehead got removed to be able to like cause it to stop growing. So
okay, so with that, okay, I'm gonna ask you this: would you actually want something like attached to your body since you're immortal and stuff? Like, would you want to like tail?
Oh, you're talking about like extra like appendages?
Yes. Just curious though.
Not per se. I mean, I don't know how to feel if I would have like a tail being around me, because I'm just like, but I know there's people out there that, dreams of having a tail, trust me. But like, I see myself pulling a Dragon Ball Z where like I have my tail, I wind up wearing it as a belt half the time. I'm sorry, but if I do, that's just how it would be. But if I had like wings or something like that, cool, I would learn how to like fly.
So like, hawks.
I mean, if you wanted me to compare myself to that, sure, but I would be like,
better than hawks.
I don't know. I always see myself as the X-Men hero that 10 points if anybody watched the movie way back when, I think in like 2006 or something like that. There was X-Men 2 had a little kid who found out he had the wings growing out of his back, and he tried to file it down so it would be like nubs, but he learned to grow with it because he didn't want his parents to think, oh, he's a freak. Because and X-Men, they don't like mutants. But yeah, I mean, I guess like wings or a tail wouldn't be that bad. It just would be one of those things where I would just have to learn. I mean, I would have to like learn to keep it secret from people, because like I don't think nowadays that if you're walking down the street with a freaking tail, somebody's gonna look at you and be like, oh man, that's obviously fake, and they try to yank it off your body, and you're sitting there like, hey man, that's attached to me.
There would have been some whooping going on if say for example I wanted a tail or an ear, there would have been some whoopings going on.
I mean, I couldn't see myself having like 4 ears though.
Why not?
I mean, I'm just saying, like, if you're thinking about just having like extra attachments, it's just like having cat ears or anything like that. It's just like I couldn't see myself having like my human ears and then an additional 2 ears growing out of my head.
Just extra hearing.
I know, but it's just like, how do I listen to music?
On your human ears.
Okay, then I'm gonna be like, it's gonna be controversy when I'm just like, people are gonna be thinking I'm listening to them with my cat ears, and I actually have human ears listening to music. Like,
okay, if they have a problem, then guess what? Oh well, because like, to be honest, I want cat ears.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, but like, other than cat ears, what else? I mean, would you want anything else? Like,
I feel like the tail is gonna be hard because one, I might get it caught under something, and it's gonna be scaring me. Cause then I'm gonna be screaming.
Then you're gonna how accident prone you are sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I never really like see myself to be like having horns or anything like that. I mean, the farthest I'll go is probably like wings, a tail, or maybe like wolf ears, because wolf ears are like supposedly soft. I never touched a wolf, but I had dogs. Dog ears are soft.
What about a husky? Wouldn't it be close?
I mean, I never owned a husky. My parents owned a husky growing up, but I never actually like had a husky. I had every other breed of dog except for a husky. But where I work, I touch plenty of I pet plenty of animals, even handling chickens.
I know, but there was something I wanted to know. Okay, say for example, if you wanted to like, it's not like with body part, but say for example, like you live for immortality and such, right? Mm-hmm. And you have the choice of growing powers. What powers would you have and why?
Oh, easily, like, if you want to do like top 3, that like.
Go ahead.
All right, so actually, I'm gonna throw in like an honorable mention, because like I just thought of this one too. But like my first one obviously would be flying. Transportation is like the best thing to own as a power. Secondly would be like super strength. Because
you're
like
already kind of strong.
I do, but I want like super strength where it's just like I can pick up a boulder and throw it at somebody. I can't do that now.
What about building?
I mean, why not?
The moon?
I don't think I could pick a moon up, because I would have to go to space to do that. But like.
You can fly and stuff. So
I'm not saying like I'm gonna have all of these powers at one time. I'm just saying if I had to choose between a power, I would do like first one would be flying, second one would be strength. My honorable mention would be going invisible. Because like,
why?
But hear me out when I say going invisible, because like how many times that like there would be an instant where it's just like you mess up, or if you get caught by the cops or like something bad happens, you can just go invisible and they would never find you.
But
like,
if you think about it, say for example, if you were, you might have a limit, just like, for example, the Apex character Rape that can temporarily go invisible, or Sombra that relies on temporary invisible.
yeah, but like, I mean, if you want to talk about stuff like that where you just have limitations, yeah, like, you know, but it would be one of those things where it's just like, okay, the cops found me after doing like a bank robbery or something. I go invisible and I just walk around the corner and go into like a basement or go inside of a building or something like that. You know, like if it's talking about like quick and easy, yeah, that would be something like that. But my third power would be like probably like teleportation. Kind of, if you ever seen the movie Jumper,
Yeah.
that's how I want to do it.
Okay.
I want to look at something and be like, boom, there I go. So I would walk around with like a wallet full of pictures. So I would be like that stereotypical dad that just like has a wallet and it's just like freaking shoots down to the floor full of kids' pictures. That would be me. That would be me with my powers to jump. You know, like, so. But like, that's how I would feel about like getting my powers and such like that.
Okay. So I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna run through this quickly. Mine's will be teleportation, but I want teleportation where not only I can teleport in a way through time, but also teleport just to anywhere exactly with no limit. Second one would be to foresee, like within a couple of seconds, like in Records of Ragnarok, with no limitation.
Okay.
But
I could see that, but yeah.
Yeah. The other one, or the last one, would be like manipulation. Like, I always was fascinated with like manipulating objects, flow of water, maybe even like in Avatar, blood bending, or just like in general. I don't know how to describe it, but it's just like I feel like if I were to have powers, my powers based on flow, but also fire, if that's weird.
So you don't want like item manipulation. You want like elemental manipulation.
Yeah.
Okay, because like the way that you in the way that manipulation usually works is that like, okay, you have you have like the brain manipulation, like where you can control somebody or change their mind or whatever you want to do from there. And then the
Energy.
item, like energy or elemental manipulation, where you can be able to like move the earth or fire or water, whatever you want to do it, you know.
Yeah.
But what other powers are you going to say?
I already said all three.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you did.
Because yeah, I was just like, let me just run through this quickly because we're almost about to be out of time. So
yeah. So.
But aside being, you think that you would live if you were cursed with it, you'd be alright with it? Yes or no?
I mean, if there's more like evolution when it comes to it, probably yeah.
Okay. For me, maybe. Because I wouldn't mind, but no, because yeah, I don't need that.
But yeah, with the whole immortal thing, it's just like I would be okay with it, but it would definitely be like more brain hurting, like emotional cracking and everything like that, because it's just like I would lose like everyone. But I guess over time you would learn to kind of just accept it.
If you do.
Yeah, I don't want to go like mad crazy on it. Like I lose like everybody and I start blowing up the earth.
Yeah.
No,
sounds about right.
I'm not like that, but I mean I get emotional with a lot of people, but yeah. Anyway,
so we're just gonna wrap up this episode. I think it was good. I'm glad you brought this topic on here for today.
It's definitely something random for today.
Yeah, and this is the Fox Den with your host Kat
and your co-host Cody.
And we'll see you next time on the next episode of the podcast. Bye-bye.
Bye.